AFC on Fox Sports. Live.
You're watching Fox Sports, Australia's sports leader.
Spectacular stuff, still going. Whoa, what about that one? There's no way to stop him. He's straight through. We have just seen magic.
It's the Bulldogs and the Sea Eagles on Fox Sports.
In the first game of 2009, here's the Bulldogs lineup, which includes 7 new players to the club. Luke Patton returns from back injury. He's there, fullback. Josh Morris is there, so is Bryson Goodwin, Brett Kamali, Ben Hannans and Mike Lennis come from the Broncos to the Bulldogs, and Michael Hodgins in the front row. David Stagg, the lock forward, also a new boy. The bench is Tamari, Armit, Kite and Barber. Their coach on debut also is Kevin Moore. The Sea Eagles have had a trying week. Michael Robertson takes the place of Brett Stewart. Michael Barney comes onto the wing to replace him. Jason King takes the place of Josh Perry in the front row, and their bench is Lestrange, Cuthbertson, Rodney and Rose. The coach is Des Hasler. Ben Cummins and Brett Sutter are our referees as we move the 2 referees full-time in this new season. Ben Cummins in control to get things underway. Ben Roberts supplies the kickoff with a bit of a smoke haze over the ground from the fireworks. And the Sea Eagles will work it away from their own line through Jason King. Gets a chance in the starting lineup with Josh Perry out of the side through injury. Here's Anthony Watmough, a big fend straight away on Brett Kamali. The halfback defending on that right-hand side of the field. Ben Roberts in his customary left side position. Glenn Hall, one of a number of Sea Eagles off contract in 2009 as Brent Kite takes it up towards the 40-metre line. Ballon from dummy half will kick from inside the 40, not a bad kick either. Down towards the corner, a bit of backspin when he didn't want it. And they'll work it away from their own end here through Bryson Goodwin for the Bulldogs. He scored a terrific try in a game for the Sharks against the Dragons here, which led directly to the Sharks winning in golden point time right here at ANZ Stadium last season. The Bulldogs are hoping for something like that here tonight or throughout 2009. Here's Ben Hannans. What a story about him this week we'll share with you in a moment as Ennis goes from dummy half. He gives it off to Hodgson, who takes it up to the 40, grabbed there by Ballon, Stewart and also Kite. Ennis chipping from outside the 40-metre line. It goes down towards Michael Robertson, who has a bit of experience at fullback. He played there for Scotland in the World Cup last year.
Good chase there by the Bulldogs. They look to be on their game early, trying to get off their line. Interesting to note, with the conditions changing, how important the kicking games will be. And both teams elected to go with their number 2 kickers for the first kick of the game.
Andrew Suniula, the 26-year-old American Samoan, playing the ball, getting his first carry in the NRL. Here's King playing it for Stewart, back on this short side as they try and stack some numbers. Bailey on this right-hand side with Jamie Lyon outside him as Orford kicks from just outside the 40. Luke Patton. They missed him badly in 2008. It made too much of a difference though, given what a season they had. He gave an awkward ball there for El Masri.
7 games last season there, looking to bring El Masri back on the inside.
Hearing your name.
Bit of a nervous start there by the Bulldogs.
Ballon. Dummy half, giving it off to Hall. Good run as well. What a bust-down season he had in his career, Glenn Hall. Tremendous 2008 from him. Here's Kite taking it up, stopped there by Hodgson. He'll play it right in front of the uprights, 10 metres away. Ballon showing it a couple of times, getting it back on the inside there for Glenn Stewart. Well picked off though, and a tackle by Andrew Ryan. Ballon goes wide to Orford. He showed it off the toe there of Brett Kamali from the Orford grubber. Watmough flops it over the top to make the tackle. Good work though by the new Bulldogs halfback.
Just stuck his leg out there, Brett Kamali, and then was able to dive on the football. He's a great competitor, and you would think that this Bulldogs side this season will be very competitive because of that. He'll demand that from his players.
A few tackles gone here in this set of 6, and they're still inside their own 20 as they go forward. From Morley, little tip on play for Andrew Ryan. Last play here, they'll be kicking from deep inside their own territory. Ben Roberts with the left boot off the back there of Chris Bailey. Not played at. Last play, and luckily Kamali is back behind the line and got a pass from Luke Patton. Well handled by Michael Barney. But the two referees, and not for the first time this weekend, combined to rule the kicker was hit after the event. And it was the assist referee floating behind the attacking line who made the call and advised the control referee of it.
Well, it happened in last night's Melbourne Storm Dragons game. And here come the Bulldogs on the attack through Ben Hannant.
Ben Hannant, good effort to be playing in this game. During the week, he spent days in hospital, making 2 trips there on an IV drip after being bitten by a spider on his left foot while mowing the grass in his thongs. I think they'll ban him from mowing the grass in his thongs from now on. Ennis from dummy half. Oh, good ball across to David Stagg, but they raced out of the line and stopped the lock forward cold. Here's Kamali in behind them. Idris straightening, going to run off, and Jamal Idris! He just kept coming and knocking them down. And the 18-year-old Goliath puts the Bulldogs on the board first. 4 points to nil. What a run!
He's got plenty of potential, Idris. He only played 3 games last season. He played in the dream team at the end of the year. He's a former world-ranked athletics champion. And there you can see the late hit. And off the back of that, the Bulldogs work it downfield. He's just big and powerful, Idris. He's 106 kilo. He'd have to be 6'3". And it's a second-man play. And bang, he goes through Orford and then pushes away Michael Robertson. And that's a tremendous start from the Bulldogs.
He's a hell of a football player, but he's also a pretty good athlete. Jamal Idris. Almost 13 minutes gone. And it's the Dogs at home. In front of a vocal crowd on a terrible night as it's turned out here at Homebush. It rained about 5 o'clock to make the field wet, but boy, it's getting sodden right now. Patton a good run off the back of the scrum win. Stagg charging forward. Running at Glenn Hall, who hit him solidly again. He'll take some bruises out of this game already, David Stagg. Ennis turns it back for Hodgson. Quick hands. Kamali El-Masri coming midfield. 4 points away from tying the record of Andrew Johns. Got one up around the shoulders, or perhaps even more there, and then some advice, perhaps from the assist referee. The tackle was high, or perhaps they were just laying on the tackle too long.
It'll be an interesting one here because it looked as though he may have got him high. I think he was falling in the tackle. Wasn't intentional. I think that was okay. I think he's just got him for lying on the tackle player just a little bit longer than he should have. But they've elected to go for the 2 points, and if he gets this, it'll bring him even closer. Not only are we counting, I'm sure everyone out there, all the fans are sitting back. They know how many points he needs, has them.
And the man himself, Kevin Moore, in charge of his first game in the NRL. You like what he's seen so far of his team. A bit of lightning around in the area. Let's hope it stays away or gets further away at least. El-Masri from right in front. Although they're never going to knock back the chance of picking up 2 points here. Just outside the 20. With almost quarter of an hour gone. Oh, he hits the upright and it went through. A smile on the face. He's 2 points now from Andrew Johns at 2,174. 8 points to nil. Most importantly for the Bulldogs. Hodgson taking it up towards the 20 on the restart. We'll see how well they do through the forwards out of their own end this time, because they have been stuck in their own 20 in their last few times trying to get away from their own end. Big Georgie Rose on the sideline. The penalty will help them get out of their own end.
You put a hand on the ball, mate, you can't do it.
Ben Cummins, he is soaked to the bone. The referee looking after the majority of the refereeing so far, with Brett Sutter, of course, on debut here tonight.
Well, Manly didn't have many weaknesses in their game last year, but one thing I'm sure they would have been looking to improve in the off-season was their discipline. They were the most penalised side. So that's an area that they have to improve. They gave away 179 penalties, and already 3 tonight.
They have proved vital to this point of the game. Here's Hannant getting away from the tackle there of Ballon. Jason King gets to him and slams him to the turf. He plays it for Ennis. Kamali now showing it inside, then out, but took them on himself. He's about 20 away. Plays it for Ennis again. He had Hannant with him. He went to Roberts instead, who had a look and knocked it on. Here's Stagg going wide inside their own 20 in these conditions. They're playing dry with a football. They picked up a few metres out of it, but boy, they took a chance right there. Goodwin will play it.
Didn't think I'd see that.
They're confident, obviously, the Dogs. They've got reason to be at 8-0 midway through this first half. Ennis under pressure. He had a couple of double pumps, and then Orford gets back. He can't pick it up. He might have knocked it back purposely to Michael Robertson. It could have been a pretty good play from the captain and halfback.
That was smart play by Orford. He knew they were coming down on him. He pushed the ball back to Robertson. Yeah, great work, Matty Orford.
More lightning flashing above us in the sky here at ANZ. Bailey playing it. This is unbelievable. It's end of the world stuff. Ballon. He goes to Orford. He had Watno coming with him. He hasn't had too many chances so far to run the ball. The breeze from the south bringing the Stormers with it, favouring the Dogs in this first half. It must be stinging the eyes of these Manly players. A spiral bomb well taken by Luke Patton, who very quickly said Searles back in the in goal. And the referee agreed they'll bring it back out to their own 20.
That was great work by Patton. Extremely difficult conditions. That ball was just floating in the air. Well done. But the Bulldogs will be hoping that they can get to their kick on this occasion, but actually get further upfield, and this will help them do it.
Too long.
Penalty. Another penalty against Manly.
4-0 it is. Penalties now against the Seagulls, and every one of them have helped the Bulldogs out of their own end, and two of them have led directly to points. A try to Idris back in the 7th minute, and a penalty goal to El Masri in the 15th. Kamali taking it forward, giving it off to Chris Armott, who is out there now. Shane Rodney also getting a chance to come on for the Seagulls, taking the place of Glenn Hall for Desi Hasler. Ennis waits a dummy half. Close hand was Stagg. It picks off some good metres. They were slow getting off their line there, Manly. As a result, Ballon and Rose had to make a tackle 15 metres out from their line. Hannant tipping it on for Kamali. Idris knocked backwards. Picked up by Kamali. No, it wasn't backwards, they say. Looked to have been a tough call on Idris and also Kamali. Look at that rain coming down. Ennis a dummy half. He's looked sharp so far. Gives it off to his former Broncos teammate and still teammate in Ben Hannant. He's about 18 away. Ennis to Kamali. Ball back on the inside. Perhaps a high tackle. Some appeals there from the Bulldogs. Chris Armott followed around the shoulders. He bounces back to his feet though. Now Ennis, little trick shot. Patton in and around the play. The ball. Kamali giving it off to Roberts, who's going to take some stopping. And eventually they did through Jamie Lyon. He's only a metre out. They come to the short side. Kamali grubbers. More pressure here. Well handled by Suniula to save the day once again.
Suniula getting to the football, and I think this will be an area where the Bulldogs will work Manly over. They're back three. They're inexperienced. Robinson normally a winger playing at fullback. Suniula, first grade debut. And Michael Barney.
Almost a carbon copy of the previous dropout from Matt Orford, and Luke Patton at speed came racing down the field and made a terrific catch. Here's John Kite, 21-year-old who was just barnstorming his way through the Toyota Cup last year. Got a chance in first grade towards the end of the season. Now a short ball for Kamali, who was almost away. Nice pass from David Stagg. Here's Roberts going at them. Stopped about 5 metres out. Ballon was there in the tackle. So was Cuthbertson. They almost didn't get a dummy half there. Ennis only just picked it up in time. The lightning continues to flash above the stadium, and the Bulldogs stay on the attack. Here's Kamali. Good pass to Armott. A ball out the back. A chance from Warburton. Away to Jamal Idris, who gets a double. And the Bulldogs make it 12
you can do. You build pressure and points will follow. Chris Armand, lovely offload there to Kamali, and they work the numbers. Warburton onto Idris, and he scores a double. They're playing some good football. There you can see the offload, and Barney was left marking 3 players. He decided to go in.
5 metres in from the sideline. Hawking! Flags are in the air! And he's tied Andrew Johns. 2,176 points. They had that sort of flight yesterday, but they were missing by 10 metres.
Doesn't matter what it looks like, as long as they go over. You can see the big smile come on Haslam's face. Too easy.
Awful. Just inside the 30-metre line with the scrum feed and the wind. Gives it to Bailey. He runs across the face there of Kamali. He puts it down also. And the Bulldogs are there to grab it straight away. Warburton dived on it. But it won't matter. It will be a knock-on both ways, says the referee. It's going to be that sort of game now for the rest of this 50 minutes or so remaining, because it is just terrible, these conditions. Wind, terrible rain, and lightning as well, which would have caught the players' eyes a number of times. It was that graphic.
Talk about kicking games being so important, but you need to get the first part of the process right as well, and that's to get to your kick.
A long way to go in this game. As the lightning flashes once again here at Homebush. Now another penalty against the Sea Eagles. Brett Suttle will call out Matt Orford here.
Hang on a sec, mate. Wait till you get here. Matthew, I'm going to talk to you.
Mate, I'm going to get out of here.
You coming out yelling at me. Matt, I'm going to do you a favour. 6 in a row is right. Go back and tell your team to clean the rucks up, or we're going to have to use the sin bin. Don't come out at me like that again. You told me about Chris before. They're doing every single time. Matt, got nothing to do with the rucks. Your blokes in the rucks tidy it up.
Well, Matt Orford highlighting the fact that the referees are going to be tough this season on players walking off the mark, walking sideways to put the markers out of play. I don't know that Hassan El-Masri was walking forward there.
Oh, you've got to try and put pressure on the referee as much as you can. He's a rookie, young Brett Sutter.
He certainly handled it with plenty of authority. As they take it forward, the Dogs in a good field position once again. A terrific run by Chris Armand. Inside the 20, he had them hanging on to him, but he just kept going. Ennis, the ball back on the inside. Andrew Ryan, just outside the 10. A bit of work facially there from Shane Rodney, and the captain wasn't too happy about it. Here's Roberts going back towards the uprights. There was half a gap there. It closed between Ballon and also Stewart. Then, Ballon gets a bit of a knee. And then he fires, punches at Roberts. It's spilled over here. And it might give Hassan El-Masri the chance to break the record from next to the post.
Well, he's thrown the first punch by the look of it, Matty Ballon. We'll listen to what the officials have to say to get involved.
Michael Ennis. I've got Matt Ballon as the aggressor. Matty Orford. I spoke to you about indiscretion with the ruck. You didn't listen, you can have 10.
Matt Ballon goes to the sin bin. He can have 10 minutes off.
Andrew Ryan. And you, Ben. Okay, guys, we need to settle the rucks down, okay? We've got them under control. There's no need to get silly. We'll referee the game, all right? Penalty to you guys.
Yeah, it's a penalty to the Bulldogs, as expected. A chance to make it 16 points to 0. And the roar goes up as Andrew Ryan says we'll take the shot at 2. About to break the record of the one and only Andrew Johns. El-Masri hits it. And the man of great humility is now the all-time point-scoring king.
It's a marvellous achievement.
Ennis to Kamali. Tips it on again for Warburton, who's playing inside. Idris out there. Hasn't seen the ball on too many occasions, Warburton, but when he has, he's done very well. Oh, a kick off the side of the boot. He went to El-Masri. Back on the inside. Kamali lost it backwards. Play on. El-Masri puts it on the toe, and it ends up going to Suniula, who'll bring it back beyond the 30-metre line. They got out of jail there, the Bulldogs.
1980, the Bulldogs were known as the Entertainers. What about that?
They turned back the clock. some 29 years. That was something. It wasn't planned that way, but it worked out okay.
It mustn't have been planned. Little off the side of the boot.
Here's Cuthbertson playing it for Manly. 5 on the Bulldogs side of halfway. Robertson. He goes across to give it off to Shane Rodney.
It's great to see that you can play this type of football in these conditions, though, and they're prepared to do that.
Orford cuts out one to give it to Maddai. Steps on the inside of Kamali. Pops a ball. Took a chance. Knocked it on. Ennis picks it up. Now he's away. He's got Patton on his outside. He couldn't go with Ennis. And Barney from behind runs down the hooker. It's play on for the Bulldogs inside the Manly 30-metre line. Kamali taking it a long way before he's chopped down, and a good tackle by Chris Bailey. El Masri at dummy half. Here's Roberts. Comes away to David Stagg, who links up on the outside with Bryson Goodwin for the corner. They won't get there. The Bulldogs are in again. And they make it 20 points to nil. They are the entertainers.
The crowd are standing as one, saluting and clapping, and why wouldn't you? I didn't think this would be the way that the game would be played. I thought it'd be more go through the middle, kick and chase. That's the orders for the night. But Canterbury have thrown that out the window and have been prepared to back themselves and back their skill level. And if they see space on the edge, they're prepared to do it. And that's a lovely pass on to Goodwin. And Goodwin is making his debut for the club. David Stagg, not known as a ball player, skips to the outside, attracts defenders and puts Goodwin away. Scintillating football from the Bulldogs.
Just a metre in from the sideline. This one hooking back. There's no stopping him now. Get up, he says. Raise the roof, and they certainly are here. They've done it well. Here's Hannon back in behind the play. The ball gets an offload away. They've done that well as well. Kept the ball alive. Made Manly work in defence. Ennis goes back to Widris. Did well to hang on to it. It was an awkward one down around the knees for Ennis, but the big fella hung on to it. Now Hannon chopped down right around the thighs with Shane Rodney making a good tackle. Ennis on the last play. Manly are walking. They are out on their feet at the moment here right before half-time. Robertson all got away from Kamali. He did well, the fullback, to beat the charging number 7. He plays it a metre out from his own line.
Great energy by Kamali. That lifts the football team. 22 points in front, 30 seconds to go before half-time. He's not content with just kicking it down there and just slowly getting down there. They've set the trend early with their kick and chase, and they've continued it.
Well, there is half-time. An unbelievable half of football. Hazem El Masri is the all-time point-scoring champion in the NRL. 2,180 points in his career. And what might be his last season in the NRL, and the Bulldogs lead 22 points to nil.
Big Time Boxing on Fox.
Matt Orford gets us underway for the second half. It goes down to Luke Patton. And they'll work it back out towards their own 20, the Bulldogs, through Chris Armand, who was good after coming off the bench midway through that first half. A lovely offload, which led to Jamal Idris's second try. Hannett will play it here for Ennis. He said he will be an 80-minute player every week for the Bulldogs in 2009. They won't carry a dummy half in this, or a backup dummy half in this early part of the season, given his form to this point of his career. But what we've seen already for the Bulldogs tonight, they don't need a backup dummy half. He's been terrific for them already.
They say he's one of the fittest guys, if not the fittest at the club.
Now here's Robertson getting crunched. Kamali was in there, so was Roberts over the top, and the halves combining to stop their opposing fullback, Michael Barney.
Surrender!
7 new signings in this Bulldogs lineup for 2009, and each of them, to this point, have done very well for their new club. Here's Stewart getting the dummy half and giving it off to Cuthbertson. The rain, which had eased off, coming back once again here as Manly working inside the Bulldogs' half. Bailey going down the short side, 30 metres out from the Bulldogs' line. Played here for Stewart, who's working it from dummy half once again. They go to the air. Some pressure here on El Masri, who gets up above them. What a catch. Boy, what a night out he's having.
Well, they've been testing him. They've peppered him with a couple in the first half. And their first opportunity in the second half, it's out to El Masri, and he's come up with the football. But Michael Ennis now coming up with the first mistake for the Bulldogs.
Will rejoin them as they go on the attack here from the scrum. Orford giving it off to Bailey. He's a great runner of the football. A danger from close range to crash his way across. Here's Stewart, a couple of metres out. Ballon is back on the field for the Sea Eagles, and now the Bulldogs give away a penalty.
Wait there. No, go in. Wait.
Manly got thumped 6-0 in the penalties in the first half. It certainly helped the Dogs to run away to this 22-0 scoreline as Rodney plays it a couple of metres out. Ballon back there straight away. Orford goes deep. Bailey showing it back on the inside for Robertson. A bit of a play that they've used so well over the years with Brett Stewart, but of course he is indeed for the first 4 weeks. Ballon straight back on the field, and he gets across the line to put the Sea Eagles on the board. Straight back out there after returning from the sin bin. He makes it 22 points to 4.
Well, you need to know your opposition and know what they're capable of doing. I think he snuck under the radar, Matt Ballon. He scored a try like this in the grand final, the opening try. He loves to go from dummy half if he senses a weakness. And you can just see Armand shifting his eyes and leaving Andrew Ryan posted. And when he realised he was throwing the dummy and going between he and Andrew Ryan, he was too late to come across.
71% success rate for Matt Orford in 2008. He opens 2009 with a conversion of the Matt Ballon try. And 16 is the difference. The Wolfman, David Williams, won't be in action for some time after suffering a shoulder injury in the World Club Challenge victory over the Leeds Rhinos. It might be round 6 or 7 or maybe even a little bit more for the Wolfman before we'll see him back in action after an unbelievable 2008. What a bust-out season it was after getting a chance in round 8 for the Sea Eagles. The man he replaced, Michael Barney, has the ball off the kickoff. They let it bounce. And it's Hannon who rounds him up about 5 metres out from his own line. Ballon giving it to Cuthbertson. Talk about bust-out seasons. He certainly had one of those last season, Adam Cuthbertson. They'll keep it alive here. Rodney might have got one right across the chin there accidentally from Andrew Ryan, but he gets up and plays it pretty quickly. Ballon now to Bailey. Stewart coming up out of the line was Morris, who got there pretty quickly and hung on to him as well. They look for a penalty, and the referee says you were trying to milk it. Now they get one.
Marker depth, you've got to be back. Too deep on the marker position.
Ben Cummins says the second marker wasn't at marker. He wasn't back to 10 either, and as a result, Manly will go out of their own end through the boot of Jamie Lyon, downstairs to Gary.
Kevin Moore made the point to his troops that it was no coincidence they were leading so well on the scoreboard because of their discipline. You know, 6-0 in the penalties against Manly. Well, now, first 5 minutes of the second half, they've given away 2 penalties. They've dropped the ball and conceded a try.
They dropped the ball here. It's backwards, though, from Matt Orford. Say the referees, in fact, it was touched by a Bulldog, so they'll get 6 more tackles. Here's Watmer. Going one way, coming back the other. He has been quiet, but you could say that about plenty of Manly forwards in this game so far. They've been dominated by the Bulldogs. Jump out of dummy half through Ballon. He's about 23 metres out from the Bulldogs line. A chance to go back-to-back here via the penalty. As Maddai puts a step on, he was almost away. Grabbed by Stagg and Ennis, but only just. Ballon goes quickly. Orford hangs onto it. It bounced off his chest, but he reeled it back in before he hit the turf. Ballon comes to Bailey. What a great pass off the legs there of Cuthbertson, picked up by Watmo, who straightens, got away from Stagg's tackle, but not Andrew Ryan. Quick play the ball. They go to the short side. Orford grubbers off the legs of Michael Ennis. He's got some support on his outside. He gives it away to Josh Morris, and he will go the rest of the way. The Bulldogs, they hit straight back, and it's 26-6. What a good man to find when you've got the ball in the open field. Morris scores his first try as a Bulldog.
Well, he scored 14 tries last year for the Dragons. Josh Morris. He's really found a home at left centre. That's the position, his favourite position. Ennis just sticking his leg out. And the football was there. It ricocheted off his leg. There was no man chasers coming across. He picked it up and gave it to the speedier man in Josh Morris. Barney was doing his best coming across, but they hit back straight away. And that's the way that you respond.
Masri looking to keep his perfect record intact in this game. It's hooking back. He can fix the economy at the moment. That's how good Hazem El Masri's going. He's got the record. All he can do is laugh.
Kevin's not going to have a smile on his face just yet. He knows that Manly are a very good football team. But Morris streaking down the field. It's a great sight when you see two of the faster men in the game going for it.
Well, there aren't too many in the NRL who would catch Josh Morris over any sort of distance. He is one of the real flyers. And he showed that right there. 22 the difference once again to the Bulldogs. Hannant getting away from Jason King, who was racing up out of the line pretty quickly. Wrestled to the ground by Rodney and also Cuthbertson. Ennis to Kamali. Thought about giving it on his outside. He didn't need to. He's back on the inside. They're off again. He's looking for Andrew Ryan. He found him. Now it comes away. They keep it alive through to Murray. Now Redress. Look out. They grab him from behind. They go 90 metres. Here's Ennis. A wide ball to Stagg. Wider still. Roberts. If he keeps it alive, they score. Good tackle by Jamie Lyon. Quick play the ball for Kamali. Patton's there. He gives it away to Morris. To Bryson Goodwin. He gets his second try. It's a Bulldogs blitz. Listen to them roar at ANZ. 32 points to 6. They won the wooden spoon last year. Somebody waved a wand and turned them, as you said, back into the entertainers.
Outstanding. They looked to shift the football against a compressed defensive line. The outside men for Manly was moving forward quickly, so Kamali just dug into the line. He threw a dummy and was able to go through, and he had Patton riding shotgun on his left.
It starts out wide. It's hooking back. Is an absolute genius. A goal-kicking genius. The record is his. There's debate as to who's the best of all time. I'll take him. I'll take him every time. You can have your Halligans and everybody else. Hazem El Masri, unequalled for mine in the goal-kicking ranks.
Well, it's hard to argue against. He's an 80% goal kicker over 13 seasons. This is his 14th year. He learned off Daryl Halligan, and he may be even better.
When he got his chance, he was a real hooker of the football initially. He worked long and hard to correct it. And he hooks them more now than he did, I guess, at the peak of his powers in the likes of 2003 when he set a single season point scoring record. But boy, he is just absolutely magic tonight. He is El Magic. 34-6. Almost half an hour remaining. Robertson here will pick up the kick, 10 out from his own line, and he sees a wall of blue and white in his face as he picks it up. Their enthusiasm is infectious.
Well, that's been from the first kick tonight. They've led the chase. Spoke about non-negotiables in a game of league, and they have just worked hard on that, putting Manly under pressure, and it's great to see.
Coming from the field, we saw Michael Hodgson going back towards the bench, perhaps a concern about a shoulder injury for him. We'll get a word on that from Gary Belcher as Shane Rodney works it forward for the Seagulls. Now they're looking at his left knee or perhaps left hamstring as well. Bailey from inside the 40 for the Seagulls. Not enough angle to pick off a 40-20. He finds Luke Patton, who played a big role on both sides of the field in that lead-up to the try by Bryson Goodwin.
It's different mentalities with the kick chase. For Manly, when they kick chase, they're running down and they're making sure they have a line together. They're working on the principle, we'll go down as a line, we'll go down steady. The Bulldogs are working on the principle, someone lead the line, go quick, but we'll follow you. So they set the standard. There's one person setting the challenge and the rest follow.
A mistake there by Michael Ennis, who jumped out of dummy half and got crunched by the marker, and as a result, Manly have it here. About 45 out. From the Bulldogs line, Ben Barber is on his feet. He'll certainly get a run now, given the scoreline is 34 points to 6. It was in some doubt earlier on when it was belting down rain and there was not much between the sides, but it has been all the Bulldogs ever since. And Barber will get his chance here in the second half. A penalty to Manly. Hands in the play of the ball. Brett Kamali will argue the toss.
Nice tackle. Right there.
And they'll go inside the 20 here. What a return to ANZ Stadium for Manly. They smacked the Melbourne Storm in the grand final. And they're on the end of one themselves at the hands of last year's wooden spooners. Lestrange is out there. He gives it off to Rodney. He goes to Brent Kite, a little flip out the back for Bailey. He goes to the right-hand side straight away. Stewart fires it wide. Lyon wrapping around the back was Robertson. Play on is the call. It wasn't knocked on, they say. Now Stewart straightens. Oh, Ennis driving in right around the ribs, and he spilled the ball. Brett Stewart, terrific tackle by the hooker.
Full of enthusiasm. They can smell blood now, the Bulldogs. And Manly coming up with another penalty against them, but coming up against a fired-up Bulldogs outfit, looking for redemption after their disastrous year. And on the form they've displayed tonight, a lot of people were expecting them and hoping that they'd make the 8. I didn't have them in my 8, but on tonight's performance, you would think that they are a massive chance.
I guess it's early days to say they're reborn, but boy, there's plenty of evidence to suggest they are right now.
Well, it's a good reference point for them. This is their level now. This is the statement they've made in week 1. This is the standard they need to be at every week, or better.
They're on the attack once again. Ryan will play it, 25 away. Kamali comes to the right-hand side. Here's Idris. Packing also El Masri. Nowhere to go for El Magic. So he chips it into the air. Beautifully weighted. Robertson will bring it back. They'll try and drag him back. And the referees will say it's a penalty.
I have to agree. I think when your body is off the ground and your leg is lifted, the referees have no other option. When you're fireman carried, there's no other option.
We saw it go against the Dragons last night against the Melbourne Storm at Olympic Park. You lift the leg into the air and the tackle is called held immediately. And a good call by the referees. The Manly players, they were aware of it, perhaps having watched the action last night. Here's George Rose playing. Brent Kite goes towards the halfway line. Jason King going back for a breather after a stint in which they scored their first try, but they watched the Bulldogs score 2 more to make it 34-6. Lestrange playing it for Orford. Goes to Bailey. Goes to the line and gives it off to Stewart. Now Lyon. He runs towards Morris, who's been good defensively. He's got Ben Barber out there with him on that left-hand side at the moment. Barber out there for Ben Roberts, who's back on the bench. It goes high to the air. Now Masri or Idris won't get to it. In fact, Idris will get to it on the ground, as it turned out. Manly trying to bat it backwards. They've come up with it through Steve Matai. It looked as though Idris had it. Matai was able to reef it away from him, perhaps on the ground, as Rodney takes it forward. They'll play it here for Lestrange. It goes to Watmough. He hasn't had too many carries tonight, has he, Anthony Watmough, compared to what we saw against Leeds just a couple of weeks ago. All he could do was run for tries on that occasion. Robertson picks it up. Kamali's up in his face. Listen to the Bulldogs fan roar.
Just tenacious.
They're loving this display.
He's a tenacious Bulldog. Kamali tonight.
I'm loving your work, Laurie.
Snapping at the heels.
You've picked up where you left off. Here's Bailey. Going to Stewart.
They go wide, still to Lyon on the outside. Lyon still going, will get the ball down and score for the Seagulls.
Mate, that'll be the 5th. Just want to check grounding.
Well, they haven't had many opportunities, Manly. And Jamie Lyon holding Josh Morris away with his left arm. The right, your confidence still was.
At full speed, it looked as though it was all in one motion. And there was no knock-on, but there is a little knock-on here.
What worries me is the first video ref decision of the year, and we're agreeing.
Either way, it'll be the Bulldogs surviving on this occasion. There will be no try. And the referee says we'll bring it back out to the 20 for the knock-on and the in-goal. Story on Ben Hannant as we look at him on the bench there. He'll love this scoreline himself at 34 points to 6, but he spent time in hospital every day this week, twice a day in fact, as Maddow loses the ball, but it was ripped out with 2 in the tackle. He was bitten on the left foot by a spider while mowing the lawn in Thongs. And it meant a trip to the hospital twice a day to be on an IV drip to get rid of the infection. He certainly hasn't played like he was bitten during the week, has he, tonight? He's been very good in his first game for the Dogs.
Outstanding.
George Rose. He takes it up towards the 20. Lestrange waits at dummy half. Here's Brent Kite. Stopped there. And a good tackle by John Kite. As Lestrange goes from dummy half. A bit of depth for Bailey. A flat pass then for Glenn Stewart. But he was tackled by Ben Barber, who's done huge amounts of work on his defence in the pre-season. And Kevin Moore has been impressed for the lightweight Whippet, who can score tries in handfuls, as he's shown so far in his time in the Toyota Cup and also first grade. But defence is the key for him as the Seagulls go to the left-hand side. Michael Barney just inside the sideline. I think he might have hit the sideline and lost the ball.
He's in there. That's okay.
Well, on that angle there, with the foreshortening of the camera, looking head on towards Michael Barney, it did look okay, but then this angle here, the ball comes away. Oh boy.
No control, but I don't think there's separation. I think it'll be a try. Just got maybe a little bit of concern whether his foot was on the line. Wasn't much in it.
Well, they say no try. We still agree, but this time we did disagree with the video referee. I guess you could have made a case either way. It was very close with his toe on the sideline, and I think I would go that way to overrule it as opposed to the put down.
I think the put down was okay, the way that I'm understanding the rule, but I think his toe may have just touched the sideline.
Steve Clark is the video referee, and here you heard it. Grapple tackle was the call from the assist referee. Brent Kite, the man penalised for the tackle.
That's all right.
It's John Kite, the player on the receiving end of it. He gets up and smiles. He's okay. A clear call of grapple by
Mate, that's the
Brett
second one
Suttle
against Brett Kite for exactly the same offence, a grapple. Go and have a chat to him, mate, because if he continues down this path, I'll have to sit him down.
Took it away, as soon as you done it, you pulled it away.
Mate, it's unnecessary tension to the head or neck. Well, that's your opinion. We call it as a grapple, okay? Talk to him. Talk to him.
We talk about Hazem El Masri's goal kicking, but he came here tonight 9th all-time on the try-scoring list. 145 he has. You look at the likes of Andrew Johns and the others, like Taylor and Halligan. Halligan scored 80 tries in his career, so did Andrew Johns. Jason Taylor just 47 as the Bulldogs make a mistake and will give the ball back to the Seagulls. Hazem El Masri to score 145 tries. He's been a lot more than a goal kicker to this club.
Well, it's been overlooked. He had dazzling footwork. He may have slowed down over the last couple of years with a few leg problems. He's a fine competitor, and you get the sense that the players really enjoy playing with him. They'd be just as excited as Hazem would be with this record tonight.
So Maddow runs towards the man we speak of, El Masri, and he plays it on his own side of halfway. Here's Michael Barney running in behind Anthony Watnell. I don't think he went around the back of him, so it'll be okay. Brett Kamali asked the question of the assist referee, Brett Sutter, on this occasion, as Kite bumps it forward. Lestrange It was a revelation off the bench as they went to the title last year. Good play here. They created some space, but coming in, Bryson Goodwin makes a good tackle on Glenn Stewart. They go quickly to the short side again. Lyon with a fend, still going. He's only 10 metres out. They have just one try so far in the game. Orford with the crossfield bomb towards El Masri. He can't come up with it. Kamali's there, though, to clean up for the Bulldogs, and it will be a goal line dropout.
They're coming through, placing pressure on El Masri. They spilt the football. I think Kamali grounded it. And now it's the Bulldogs to drop it out from underneath the sticks. And there's the trophy they're playing for.
It is the Bullfrog Arco Cup. Of course, Kevin Moore, the son of the great and late Peter Moore, the long-time administrator of the Bulldogs, responsible in some ways for so much of their success, keeping the club together, the club that became known as the Family Club. And Ken Arthurson, what Peter Moore achieved at Canterbury, well, Ken Arthurson matched on the Northern Beaches for the Manly Sea Eagles. Former player, of course, and administrator for the Sea Eagles. And if you name a cup to be played for between these two clubs, you could pick no better men than Peter Moore and Ken Arthurson. Here's a mistake. Chris Bailey it is who puts it down. They're loving every second of this now, these Bulldogs fans. Just on 10 minutes remaining, and they lead by 28. If you'd come here tonight and said, well, the score will be 34-6 with 10 remaining, you'd say, well, I feel for the Bulldogs because they'll have obviously done it tough. It's the other way around.
They just haven't been in the contest, Manly. They've been out enthused, they've been outplayed. And the Bulldogs, they're not relenting. They're defending their try line as if it's the first 10 minutes of the game.
They were absolutely lax defensively last year, the Bulldogs. They conceded 782 points and an average of 33 a game. Contrast that with the Sea Eagles, who conceded only 367 at 14 points a game. There was almost 20 points a game difference defensively between these two outfits. You wouldn't know it, given what we've seen here tonight. Kite driven backwards late in the tackle count for the Dogs as they work it up towards the 40-metre line. There is Ben Roberts back on the field and working it from dummy half at the moment. Stopped there by Ennis. He'll kick from just inside the 40. Not much depth on it, but he'll find the sideline. No, he won't. Barney got back there. Showed good fingertips to keep it in play. He gives it off to Robertson, who I assume will be in the full-back position for the next 3 weeks to come.
Yeah, you'd think so. But Canterbury have got such great variety with their kicking game. We haven't seen it tonight, but with Ennis being able to kick out a dummy half and Brett Kamali, and you throw in a left-footed option kicker in Ben Roberts, who kicks the ball nice and long, they've got all bases covered. I think it's great when you've got a left-foot kicker in your football team. He hasn't been required tonight, but as they evolve as a football team, that'll be a very important part of their game.
Here's Bailey working on the left-hand side of the field on a set play for the Sea Eagles, but they read it very well defensively again, the Dogs. Oh, great kick. Oh, Bryson Goodwin makes an incredible catch on a greasy night. Oh, and then Cuthbertson rattles the ribcage there of Luke Patton. This was a pineapple off the boot. But Goodwin came in and took it magnificently.
Well, you wouldn't think that there's been any rain here tonight, given the skill on display by the Bulldogs.
And the ball ripped out in the tackle with two involved on Ben Roberts. Strange gets up, jawing at Michael Lennis, who's known to remind opponents of the scoreboard on occasion. He certainly is a competitive type. Leaves no stone unturned in his efforts to win a game of football. Boy, he's a good pickup for the Bulldogs. Look at their gains for 2009 before the start of the game. Nobody went deeper into the market. The Sharks picked up some big names, but the Dogs had plenty to spend, and in fact still have money to spend. And it's not confirmed, but I think you can read it as read that Greg Eastwood will join the Bulldogs and be in first grade at some stage in the weeks ahead.
Well, it adds plenty of depth. I think I was so impressed about the Bulldogs, given the fact that they were looking to chase players. They identified areas that they were deficient in and bought the best. that were available.
And you throw Eastwood into this pack. They'll have a very good set of forwards here at the Bulldogs, with Nick Cooper-Ritzer still in the lower grades, Charlie Liano, plenty of backline depth as well. You're going to like what you've seen so far. Here's Kamala going to Roberts. Running there at Glenn Stewart. And also Brent Kite. He hung onto the ball and bobbled there for a moment, but he reeled it back in. Now Stagg grubbering towards the in-goal area. Robertson getting across. There's no dramas with that one. Three of them there to drive him back into the in-goal area, including Barber and Goodwin.
Been a feature. It's been one of the real features of the game, the kick chase by the Bulldogs. Every time they have kicked it, they have chased hard. And they haven't just wandered down the field. They have had speed, they've had intent, and they've come up with good contact on each and every occasion.
10 seconds, downside.
Matt Orford using up the clock. It doesn't matter at this point because they're well beaten by now, the Sea Eagles. As the kick goes down to Ben Barber, John Kite. Don't know who was he trying to impersonate there. Was it Benji Marshall? Or perhaps was he going back to an era past? Ryan will play it for Ennis. Here's Kite again. Getting a good tackle by Glenn Hall with Cuthbertson over the top. He'll play it about 18 away from the Manly line. Ennis goes to Kamali, wrapping to the short side. Quick ball there. Lee Tamari hitting a hole, or so he thought, until it was closed by Jamie Lyon. Barber comes back to Kamali. Here's Roberts. Patton cutting back on the inside. Roberts keeps coming. Got away from Matt Orford's tackle. Then lost the ball. Maddie was there, so was Watmo, and Barney picked it up and brought it back across the 20-metre line for Manly. Now the ball comes away, wreathed out by David Stagg.
Trying to get away with that, David Stagg. Oh, look at the referee. What have I done, sir?
And it was the assist referee, the man floating in behind the attacking line, who made the call.
I must say, Warren, 7 years ago when you were campaigning for 2 referees, you looked into the future.
I didn't want to bring it up, Laurie.
You looked into the future. So you're the one that's got this started. You are the visionary.
No, don't give me credit. I did campaign long and hard.
Take it, because it's the only time I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you. Here's Cuthbertson. Manly keep it alive. And they find themselves back on the halfway line. I'll take it when you dish it up. Suniula. A tough old night to make your debut as a 26-year-old. Now Cuthbertson. Coming to Ennis and also Stagg. They chop him down midfield about 38. Or 30 out, rather, from the Bulldogs line. Stewart to Orford. A ball back on the inside for Robertson. Special play they used for Brett Stewart. Left in the field, on the ground rather, behind the play was David Stagg. He'll be okay. Oh, Goodwin again, this time above his head. And he gives an offload away as well to Luke Patton. They're the Globetrotters, not the entertainers.
No. How can you come up with a catch like that? Outstanding once again. Hasn't put a foot wrong. None of their players have.
He was skating across the turf a moment ago, taking one. Some above the head. We saw Jamal Idris, but it really was belting down earlier in the game. Make a terrific catch at the other end of the field. Luke Patton has made a mistake here. There's been plenty of balls put down. If you just tuned in, you missed an unbelievable rainstorm for most of the first half of the game. A thunderstorm hit the Homebush precinct. It was flashing lightning. It wasn't all that far away at different stages. It didn't stop the Bulldogs as they ran out to a 20-0 scoreline at half-time. 22 points to nothing from the Premiers. It was quite remarkable. Here's Maddie putting in a kick that nobody expected. Idris will go back and clean it up for the Bulldogs with just over 3 minutes remaining in the game. Patton away from dummy half. Adelaide there coming from behind to make the tackle on him.
One of his favourite plays, Luke Patton. Dummy half, show and go. Stole 10 metres.
Played just 7 games, of course, last season. Just the majority of it with that back complaint. Now they go wide again. Kamali, a no-look pass. Jamie Lyon was up in their face, and it hit him right on the chest. Lyon gets across the line. Brett Kimmorley says, boys, it's all right. We led by plenty. We took a chance. It didn't work out. Here they were. It was a set move, all right. I don't know if it was intended for Ben Barber or Lee Tamari on his outside, but it found Jamie Lyon instead.
The only mistake he's made all night, Brett Kimmorley.
No, he'll have the extra 2 from right in front here to make the difference once again what it was at half-time. This will be the last play of the game. It'll go down to Michael Barney, who takes the kick off and brings it back out. And the Bulldogs, can you believe it, have beaten the Premiers 34 points to 12. Well, the Bulldogs have started the season with a win for the first time since 2005. He has the record, hasn't the Bulldogs have 2 points. They've beaten the Premiers. Goodbye from ANZ Stadium.
This has been a Fox Sports production for the National Rugby League Partnership.